Because each one of them has their own rights in the country which belongs to all of us. But these ones are facing something that belongs to other people, which is theirs, except if they are unable to.
Let me read out Article 25 of the Constitution. Every person shall have the right to subsection B, freedom of thought, conscience and belief, which shall include academic freedom, and subsection C, freedom to practice any religion and to manifest such law says.
You know, if the Ahmadiyas only limited themselves to the Ahmadiyya religion, they wouldn't have any problems with anyone. Where there is a dispute, Muslim. We say they are not that. Because they would have been together with us if they were. This is the only disagreement between them and us. And this country has never accepted that from the beginning up to now. Since the day that they came into this country, the elders fought against that from that day until we trusted them in Gunjur when they came. My teacher that I told you about, he was the one that drove them away. Before they built the hospital in Serekunda, they had built one in Gunjur. They rented a line house and they turned that into a hospital. Atab spoke to the Gunjur elders at the mosque and inquired to know who are these people. How they left that place, I do not know. But they eventually left Gunjur.
Thank you for that explanation. I have a document here. They call it's labeled Ahmadiyya Muslim Jamaat. So the problem you have with them is the use of the word Muslim. Do you have any ideas as to how this problem of name could be resolved in this Gambia, in this country?
Ye nyim kudo so de puru ke we will command the Muslim la nyim bankunka.
I did not get it.
Do you have any idea as to how this problem could be resolved in this country, exercise their religion being constricted or restricted?
Fadung ye londi sotole nyim kole ya kosi sono ya no nyameng nyim bankunkang satara amanke nyim tiko ye Ahmadiyya ye ludula kela wala kafo ka kuntri nyato ke balila kulula mensi kole ya konyi sono yandi bankoka foyo idea foyo miraro sotole bang
banko based on full system kabiri yalo fobi banku dingol lebije jama manke Ahmadiyya. When the schools were established up to now, many Gambians have gone through those schools, and most of them are not even members of the Ahmadiyya sect. The whole country also accepts their hospitals. My own mother was treated in their hospital. In the name of Islam, that is the only problem.
If that is the only problem, do you think that canvassing your member of parliament for legislation to prohibit the use of the name Muslim in their title, don't you think that that would have in fact been more in recognition of the law than to attack them and advocate for their banning?
Ning misal kama ali sembeta alla dipite wala nungu membe siring ali dipite bungo kono kanaki ala puru itali sinyin fero kata mandi puru ise nyin kumakango kafo kumakango nyin muslim puru ka falin ka bondi ila kolu kono fo nin dipite bungo nata son wala han fo yo kango londi dipite bungo kono fo nata ke fo te kala kolu bandawti bang
ya long hanika fo ko Ahmadiyya Muslim.
You know, even mentioning them as Ahmadiyya Muslims,
Waman problem di la nyimbango kande.
that did not give them any problem in this country.
Kumandong Gambia dingo ning Ahmadiyya tema because Ahmadiyya lam.
There is nothing by way of problem between the Gambians and Ahmadiyya for them calling themselves Ahmadiyyas.
Minka fitino dundi ni mol tema.
What used to bring the difference between them and people, if I can recall, are two things. It's not because of they being Ahmadiyyas.
Supreme Islamic Council Zakir Naik.
The Supreme Islamic Council had a visitor, Zakir Naik. He made preachings and he touched a lot of people. However, it was, he was a visitor, and he was our visitor.
Ahmadiyya ya disgrace ka police newspaper balaka agents amambo Gambia follow.
The Ahmadiyyas disgraced him, and they published those on newspapers, even while the man was still inside the Gambia. We wrote to express our displeasure to the Gambia government with their action.
Are you suggesting that before this time, before the arrival of Zakir Naik in Gambia, there was no problem between Muslims under the umbrella of the Supreme Islamic Council and the Ahmadiyya Muslim Jamaat?
Fwebe nyele fokanko janni wo kendugo ina jan Zakir Naik Gambia jang muslimu ning Ahmadiyya lutema fokole ya kuti je nung itema fereng fo janni wo luntang bina kumbaboro la nyimbanko kan
kole ya kole binu bije woluka dung eni mo kote ngol tema the Supreme Islamic Council kada bulaje puruka bang.
The disagreement that existed was between them and some other people, which the Supreme Islamic Council used to intervene in and put to a stop.
Because in any kalafika jame ngolo sate to sate memang sula jame fulala because amang wara.
They once tried to build a mosque in one village which did not have a need for two mosques because the village was quite small.
Already
and already that village had their own mosque.
But
the Ahmadiyyas wanted to pray inside their own mosque. So they wanted to build another mosque in that small community. And the people of those communities usually refuse. And so that used to brew trouble between them and those small communities, which we will then go and put a stop to.
We would come to the Sarengai issue. But the question I asked was that before Zakir Naik came to Gambia, it seems from what you say that there was no problem between Ahmadiyyas and Muslims.
there was no problem that we forwarded to the government. Whatever came up, we addressed it and we put it to rest.
But consistently, Imam Fati has been giving the khutbah at State House, asking that the Ahmadiyyas be banned, their hospitals closed, their schools closed. Are you aware of that?
Ako, foi botanyin kalamale banko. Imam Fati ala kutubolu kuna kamenke State House jama ngutunu, akatunyin satalele wati ko, inyanda Ahmadiyya lu tonna leke la lupitanu lu soron ke la karambugu lu soron banko kang. Foi botaw kalamale ba?
Amantara wo khutba kanuing council tola.
He was not making those sermons in the name of the council.
As far as I tell you,
and as far as he said those things, he could have said so.
That is precisely the point. And the council did not deem it fit to address the problem.
Because khutba beminka ke jame wo jamen to Gambia.
Because all the sermons
al-mamu la marata la khutba la atele ka foka diata inyamin ndolma any interference with anybody in any mosque in the Gambia.
All the sermons that took place in the mosques across the Gambia are the responsibility of the particular imams in those mosques. They prepare their sermons and they deliver them, and the members of the Supreme Islamic Council had nothing to do with those sermons.
Would you say that a move to ban the Ahmadiyya pursuant to this call and to close their schools would have been unlawful?
Udo fobe nyum folako kasilo ta purka Ahmadiyya luban ila krambul ni ila dinkira kotangulu sorong fo isi son
hospitals and their schools.
And equally, Imam, we have to respect the laws of this country that every individual, under pursuant to Section 25,
has a not accept sabotage.
Okay, all right. But you accept that they are free to practice whatever religion.
Bari isonta nyinnako ila nyantolo nyinti purka dina tamandi te lefte ila dino men.
Imam ming associate, imam ming sembendi muslimia dinol.
One that they do not associate with Islam.
Who is Muslim and who is not Muslim.
Bari imam enyum fonyen ko aliman sembo soto ka fo nyino muslimoti wala nyini manke muslimoti.
I cannot recall. I cannot recall. This one is a Muslim, this one is not a Muslim. That is
you did say one can give one's opinion, but you don't have the authority to say this one is Muslim and this one is not Muslim.
Because such an individual is not a Muslim or such individual is Muslim. If these are two individuals, individuals who were independent, one is in one religion and the other one is another religion, that is easier. But for someone whom I have said is not a Muslim, then that issue is one that is not easy. Except if that person is not within the enclosure of the Muslims and is on his own.
Okay, but the Imam, I understand the distinctions that you're trying to draw.
But Imam, nga fahamule ilafta fatam fansolu menu natila.
And you have explained that the only problem you have with the Ahmadiyya is the use of the word Muslim in their name.
Munta kole akome yaitandi membali ning Ahmadiyya lutema wala na ike fon kumandi Muslim mol la nyame.
But that has never posed any problem until Zakir Naik arrived in Gambia.
Ambungu manna na kole akusabu jang alni tema hanfu watu men Zakir Naik nata nyimbanko kan.
Because it
brought problems because these are mosque issues that used to prop up in the country.
Aning family killing kawali because dole Muhammadiyya te dole mankati.
And also the problems that happened within families, because some were Ahmadiyyas and others were not. Those were happening even before Zakir
But
Naik
those
came.
were resolved. Is that the case?
bari ni wolu nyolu ketanga meral ka fero kele ka ko dimbadu ben ka kambe wonati je
Ha, so nyindon warata woyen juso bole du sembetenna.
Yes, but this one was bigger and it scared us so much. And we were powerless, which was why we expressed our displeasure.
Because London and the Manyana disgrace la Mandi Banko Kang Atarana Jati.
And because no visitor must ever be disgraced.
Since all these calls by Imam Fati for the Ahmadis to be banned, their schools and hospitals closed, were just personal statements. That's what you're suggesting.
amunda silang ita ka men foteng imam fati ka kumulu men be fonu ka ahmadi wala karam
Ngalong ko Imam Lonalom, Almamolom.
I know that the Imam is highly learned, learned, and is an Imam.
Adungate Feng Fola Niola Panang.
And he will not say something before we even proceed.
Imam, we are not necessarily interested in the correctness or wrongness of his reasons.
imam telu la hammo momenti na la finno momenti amanke nyinti ka fo wo dalilolu to nyalom wala to nyate akawul men fonya bari ntelu la solo momenti wolem tanko nin kanto men nyanta lola moliye men yalon ko be banko kan na sula da molete.
Your testimony is, and correct me if I'm wrong,
ila sedaro mo nyinati nim filta fanan isin temben isin tilin
that statement
o kuma kongo
by Imam Fati
imam fati men fonya
to ban the Ahmad,
bara manke kuma kaunti Supreme Islamic Council be memfo pour ka ahmadiyol tong
Ha.
Yes.
and that statement was at that stage never endorsed.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Thank you very much.
inumbara
And what would you say, Imam, in a situation where people were to call for the
be munne fola ni misali kama molu sotonta menno wulita ilota iko ya islam dino nyin tong itebe munne fola woli
Wona neta sotola.
That will,
Jamal tam Muslimina dino.
who owns the Islamic religion,
Ala la dino woytong.
for God's religion to be banned,
Muslimina neto.
no Muslim will ever do that.
precisely the point.
wala mfango mko kumotinak wala
That's
mko fango
precisely
tisai
the
woto si se o finansio sotonol
Actually, Mr. Pal, Ahmadiyya Linde Kukiling.
Council Fall, the Ahmadiyyas are not in the same thing with us.
In the Kukiling.
all right.
We are not in the same thing.
Let's take it this way.
bitum pomo be nyin karadola
They can both coexist
e be si taranole ka tara kering
in peace in this society
satara kairo kono jama kono
under the protection of the law.
satara bebe luala kantaro koto
Static thing in the
Lumbe
world,
semberi molla.
which is leaning on people,
Do fanaye woke atati wala ya dabula je woye tama wote kering.
and to have that thing claimed by some other person as their own, that has never been.
Minnu tama wala tama duro.
Those to choose it is either will join them or be outside of it.
But Imam, let's conclude on this point. You would agree that the law protects their existence, correct?
ya imam ngajandon senandi ngauto bang bari fango be sonal ko loi ko
And 25 rather of the Constitution provides that.
na banko la constitutional la bunda mwani lulo yo wole londi
Isn't that the reason why the Supreme Islamic Council could not do anything about it?
fo le manke daliloti hanifo Supreme Islamic Council manna ku keno ila
It's precisely the point we are trying to make,
Anu-
is that the law protects people in the exercise of their religion.
amunda wala ko kumuti lafta men londi la ka bambandi jang luwa nyin kango di molu lele ila nyantolo nyinti pour ifanalu ye
boy nyim banko kan ado ya loman dianye bare moma boy because amadio la jabe olom
That is why,
talende nga sandi jelle keje luwolo mol be tambila la dro
that is what
bara ya imam
In Sarengai,
sare ngai
which you talked about, the mosque was destroyed. The temporal mosque that was built was destroyed
ye which jamango meloje yo janjanne ya boyindi
by the paramilitary and the police.
paramilitary nin police le tata o janjang kaje boyindi
no woman yana lola
a mosque that came along with violence should not be allowed to stand.
ado nan manda nim petenola tendo sate molta mala.
And if it did not come with violence, the people of that community wouldn't have touched it.
Well,
la ko yo to yo boyindi le do jamang
so the attack on the Ahmadiyas
boyin kandiro men yake ahmadiyulla
and calls for them to be physically attacked, beaten, and killed
anin kuma kangulu meno fata ko molu si boyin kan ke bute anin ke fa
and calls for their schools and Gambian law
Gambia nyin temben ila lualus anin sartolu be lori nyamen
is unlawful.
wota de ni o
Clara de do
They are opposing him already, yes.
mol be ko como fola be ko kala min diate ni wo muta ko winin bankola walla kapukar min ala doyata nyawnya e sembo doyata nyawnya authority rimbe bulu ilafta wo emphasize la for something wo is wo nyanda mo concern la bari molu kamindi amo social media ning mo ba nin dulalto wo si ata banko kanade.
There are many people who are talking, criticizing the current president and so many things. And there are associations who have some rights to do certain things. But there are also things that concern some people and it concerns us too.
No, it's all right. But do you realize that after some of the pronouncements calling for the Ahmadiyas to be banned,
Foyenyin jele ko kuma kanglu menu dolu fotanun ka foko nyanta ahmadiyolu tonnale
the programs that they had on TV
the programu lu menu so
were
television
stopped.
ani radio to yo programu lu belondile
And on Monday, July 14, 1997, The Point reported
tanango July karo tili kononto 1997 point kibar kaito
soon after the khutbah in State House calling for Ahmadiyya's kafirs and asking
madiol mu kafirol leti woto inyanta ila kulu londilale biro botala doron ye la programme lu kuntu radio ni television oto
that was unlawful, wasn't it?
It was not displeasing to me.
Yes, I know. Because I know your position. But it is unlawful.
When they build their hospitals, if they destroy their hospitals, that will sadden me.
So you want their goods, but you don't want
what he's saying is that to talk in the name of Islam.
Yes, you may like that, but it was unlawful.
Hani left alabari ani luamanta
I don't know how the law was written and when it was written to carry out their religion as they wish. Who has accepted that in this country? There is no one who accepts that.
Mr. Chair, may I exhibit the Point newspaper of Monday, July 14, 1997, which contains the complaints of the Ahmadis that their order was given. Could you pass it to the chairman to take a look?
You're giving it an exhibit number?
Exhibit number of Yahya Jammeh's edict instructing that they all pray on 29 July.
This was the clip that we had seen.
The clip that we saw. That should be 120A.
Splendid. Both.
Which I quoted from. That should be 120C. Sheriff for that Eid.
Was that given an exhibit number earlier?
No.
It's now been, okay.
I think. I think, well, I did cite the exhibit.
Request granted.
Yes, thank you very much.
Please proceed.
Let me extend this line of conversation to the next point, but which is the use of the word Muslim. If that is resolved, there should be no problem.
Mbara ngin dinkira tentende kaitandi la amunta ke fankumandi misilme to menna ninkumu.
And the Muslims, any significant or difficult problem between the two since their inception in Gambia and until the arrival of Zakir Naik. I think that is quite important to note.
Ako dinkira fana mbije me ala ngakuma yata bake mosi hakilo tuje kadu ahmadi alnin muslimu la karotema kole ya mansoto je num ibebe janne nube la kul ke kan fitina ma wulite ma kole ya mansoto hanifo wato men Zakir Naik natana nyim banko kan so utumolem kole ya damu tataka finti ako kuma yata bake promoye hakilo tuje.
No, kolea bijela because niaje misil mulbe balanding.
No, there were difficulties.
Puru ila jamengol nyanta lola manyanda lola.
If you see the Muslims objecting to whether or not their mosques should be built, up to today is the same thing.
But in 2015
sankono
you changed your position, didn't you?
Ali alla ludula faleng faman kewnya
ka faleng nyade
to change how
for the first time into the debate
ye dabula kachakono
and declared the Ahmadiyya Muslim Jamaat as non-Muslims.
ye otumole inata nyin kuma kan findindi ko Ahmadiyya Muslim ko puru isi Ahmadiyya Jamaat ila kulu ka be bondi mol la kulu kono.
We have
the 15 sankono
and it says that the declaration was signed by the President of the Supreme Islamic Council, who would be your humble self.
Andu ite fango leti.
Yeah, Imam, I know you understand English.
Exactly.
Yes. So we just...
No, I signed it.
That was the letter that we wrote to the office of the President in the manner in which our visitor was disgraced by members of the Ahmadiyya. The copy
media
was the one they sent to the media.
So it all published
as 120D.
Request granted, Council.
Thank you very much. The Ahmadiyya responded, suggesting that the Supreme Islamic Council wants, but significantly, veteran journalist the subject, and he asked one important question.
Andung nyininkar kuma killing for
representative clique of Talibans. Let me just say that I am quoting from an article.
Ko abe nyim ko indila ko nyim manka fonga kumatide abe nyim bondi kan kibar safari ngol kono me yalon ko dole ya safe.
I am just quoting what is written.
Men safeta we men safeta be wole say kan kandro.
And it is important that this be clear.
He
said, who gave this unrepresentative clique of Talibans the authority to determine who is a Muslim.
Bodi nyin talibolu la men ya lonko wala nyinti tellem jumati puruka jube jumale mu muslimu.
And he continued,
Continue ka foko
the Gambia is a secular state.
ako Gambia mu secular state let wala koto mu nyinti ko
As such, the constitution guarantees religious persuasion as long as they do not infringe on the rights of the citizens.
Woto banko la sarto ni luwa nyi sembo di banko dingo belale puru isi tarano dina wo dina kono isi atara nyala nyami.
What do you say to that?
Ako fay mu na fo wala
that would say such a thing?
Was
it Java saying that? Was it a question?
I am asking for your reaction to this.
He could say that.
And Hamad Ba.
Hamad Ba
are not Muslims and should be banned from this country.
And
this is what he had to say.
And
from the articles. He said it is a constitutional right of every Gambian to belong to any religion or worship in.
Gambia din na nyantoleti kabula dina wo dina no makata mandi ite leftala nyaming satara dum fanang abe ni sartol tata nyola konna bankola constitutional ya fa nyaming nyimwila nyant atelela kumoti.
I don't share such hardline religious views.
Ntemang tara ni jeri façon lu kono me ya lon ko jeri kolengol lem nyilti dino la karola.
They are unconstitutional.
Nyil nim bankola constitutional mantanyola ko bako dina wo dina ila kolu kadamuta daming nilla na tambo be kala akadamuta wo kuma kan sangarol le lay ka mennu fo dino toyala me yalon ko asake doli tanoti
which
na kurukuru kana ke fitinoti men kana wuli banko kan ko aketa Nigeria banko kan nyame.
He warned that such type of intolerance must not be
kurukuru Gambia banko kan.
If the Gambia is to maintain its status as one of the leading countries in the world in terms of religious tolerance.
Ko natara Gambia lafta tentenna nyin todi mala dunia kono ko Gambia be banko le kono men ya lon ko itelle todi ata dunia banku dolu beti ka foko momonding be banko kan isila dino tamandino lafta la nyami.
He went on to say, I quote,
Continue ka fo hanumbiya be wandi kumole sata kanteng.
The Gambia is a free society.
Ko Gambia mu jamaleti me yalon ko ibe fambulu.
And everybody has the right to worship the religion you want to worship.
Adu momonde nyi nyanto sotole isibula dino no ma ya tamandi ilafta dino menna.
Religious freedom is a constitutional right of all people and that cannot be compromised.
Don't
agree with the view that a particular religion should be banned because the Gambia is a secular state and it is everyone's right to belong to any religion. And he proceeded by saying, we have to. I just leave it at that. That is his views about the calls for the banning.
Inyanta Ahmadi olutonna la wala dina wodi na kafo kaulu tonyi mbanko kan nyimmen kuma kangulu menna bote fulateng wo mari la jero mwoleti.
What do you say to that?
Akobe wo mari jabla
woto.
What I will respond on that
Supreme Islamic Council lomo
is that the Supreme Islamic Council
aning Ahmad be nyaming.
So it's left to you how you see these two individuals.
Ela jabiro ekewanyam. Then Islamic Council enyim kumofo.
What is the reason why the Supreme Islamic Council made this statement? Since we were set up to today, all of us are in this country.
Thank you, Imam. That is quite encouraging.
Imam, woto seke moe nyin kamala purka nyo fahamundo kambengo anin Cairo pour ka sabatindi jama kono.
This is the spirit in which we should regard ourselves and our differences. Mr. Chair, I request to exhibit the Today newspaper dated Wednesday, November 5th, 2014, which contains the statement of Ahmad Ba on the subject, fundamentalism and religious bigotry can't fit in the Gambian space. That should be 120E.
Request granted. Does that document also contain the Ejawas?
No, the DA Jawa one I think was already exhibited.
Okay, yeah, fine,
Yes.
that's all right.
Thank you very much, Mr.
Thank
Chair. Now we move on to the issue of the Shia.
Saying that Shia lufanan na kuoto.
Is it the case that you issued a statement in which the council, this was in 2008, August 7.
Nyimu August karotil warawuloleti 2007 fodum.
No, 2008.
2008 sound
I don't know who was president at the time.
Akote mwa malon jumalom president.
All media proprietors
Kafoko kibar bunda dokula lube
have been warned to desist from encouraging Shia activities in the Gambia, in the country. Is that true?
fo mutonya altiba.
Ko jamale o dandelaro fo.
You said who gave that
Woman na do quality.
That is our work.
Do you have the power?
Ani
Ko fo sembo ballaleba.
afodoro.
No, just to say it.
The article says
Baro continue the kafo.
the Gambia Supreme Islam was propagating or defending Shia Muslims to stop with immediate effect.
Programu lumenu beka tama. Meni ya lonko eka Shia la kule kidimandi ke la ko banke ka lankenema. Yo amanke ko kafole mdoronde nyimukaneti e mendi ko tama.
No sembo tenda puruka po radio station ko dia ko ya londi. We don't tenda. Obara ala implementation puruka ke wala ka ke bale auto da dollar bulunga po me.
We could say it, but whether or not that order is implemented is left to the various stations. Maybe I would not know all, but wherever they existed, that place ended up in flames.
You see, Imam, you may very well be right.
Imam asikeno ibe tonyala.
Because mote Abubakar nenna ite nyala ye nya kasala. Because mote Umaru nenne nyala nya kasala. Mote kila dingolo nenne nyala nya kasala. Ni woba stop a bank ase na banko mala. Alto security pangote ita control la no.
Because no one will insult Abubakar, Omar, and the sons of the Prophet in your presence, and you will allow them to go free. If they are not stopped immediately, they will set the country in flames.
Imam, you may be right.
Imam, isi asikeno iye tonya.
It is that way.
But what the law says
Bari lua e memfo
is that the exercise of a religious right can only be restricted by law for particular purposes.
Budulo munyintiko ka molla nyantolu tamandi lua yo kango dile aya simbodi adum fo fana yetama fo o manke kolu lanyati.
So the right thing to have done is to go to parliament and get a law.
Mem nyanto tinungoto wolem kata dipite bungoto ka lua fana mfintindi
To prohibit allowed within the law.
pour ka loi fintindi dipite bungoto pour ka nyintong sialu ikakuma kangulu ning ila kolu menu tamandi menu mambeta pour fero yake loi yelo pour ka foko inyanta ulu fana tonna banko kanne ni lanung ila miraro to fama nyangole nyam
Yalon tuluka pole.
You know, we only say,
But sembo tenna puruka tamandi.
but we don't have the power to implement.
minu nyanta londira
those that are supposed to stop it,
ko tutawallabul
things were left in their hands.
Imam, there is freedom of expression in this country.
Imam sarto nyindi le pour momondi lafta mem fola isa fono ni mambula do.
You can criticize the president, you can criticize.
I
am not sure whether criticize is the same, is the equivalent of doya in Mandinka. I don't know, but doya seems to mean to me directly to belittle. I don't know whether doya is the right word.
Is another word. You know, Mandinkas use one word for 2, 3.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you. I just want to be sure that we have the right word. All right, thank you very much. Yeah, Imam, this document does not seem to suggest that you stopped at criticizing. It suggests that you gave orders.
Nying kaito yenyi itandiko amanda nyinto doron ka foda la puruka oldoya bari al tententale puruka ikajafika kuma kamulu foye menketa kamulu ti menu ni sartol manta.
In fact, the Islamic Council to regulate the looming Islamic differences.
Nyine foko wotumo yaya jamme memu president oti asifere ke ay tilindiro ke kolu la me yalonko wala mu fatam fansoti dino la karola membe wulika.
Was that true?
Fo muto nyalti ba.
Near Wofo,
If he had said that,
Wamu council la do quality,
that was part of the responsibility of the council
tilingo kaganinto nyaka.
in straightforwardness and truth.
Itina inyape akandoro adiate inyame yake onyama.
You will know this is the word.
Alkiyama le warata.
The bigger thing is the hereafter, and God does not like someone who troubles.
So nyinyanta kila wolo mutonya kante anintilingo ka.
So what
Yaya Jammeh the authority to empower the Supreme Islamic Council take steps against this year?
Mune yin sembo di Yaya Jammeh la pour ka yin kamo di Supreme Islamic Council la pour ka simfa
Dula kota ngol da malla fe wala jam.
maybe is the suffering or the trouble that they have done in other parts of the world, which he has
the power to give the Supreme Islamic Council the power to stop Shia activities.
akomem wala mnyinti mune yewo sembo di Yaya Jammeh para ata fanaina wuli ayo kamo di Supreme Islamic Council la pour ka Shia la kolu londi nyim banko kan akawala nyininka
Yalo negal. Ate kilingo lomdoro mine sembo dia ayo sembo bombing.
it's the same thing. Where is that? Does it derive that, or did he derive the power from?
All right, thank you. That's good.
Exactly. Yalo ntete o answer no actually.
You know, I cannot answer that actually.
In fact, he did not have that power.
amunyitu wala
Asked you to do it, you should check whether he had the power to tell you to do it.
bari waira akaw atelle yake alinyanta ajubira le foto nyatonya ateyo sembo sotole pour ka tel bula wala
Bisa Paul Bongayalon ko wo londo na pero o tendebul. Because all the Fayamoro Loa Kang, ya be karang, ya jibe,
Council,
sembo be munto wala temunto. Or maybe Londa Balado Colombo.
Council Fald knows that I do not have the wisdom, neither the means to lawful or otherwise.
Thank you, Ya Imam. That is a very honest answer.
ilumbara ya imam wode wo jabiro senayata atilinta
We were given a hadith
ya hadiso le fonyi jannu
which suggests that
me nyi tandiko
the orders of the head of state
banku nyaton ko la kangolo
must be implemented.
wolo nyanta tamala wolal
Are you aware of that hadith?
Ning and ning alatama nyowale.
If and only if that is not in contradiction to God's own wish.
Does God say that the shiat must be banned?
ko ala ko le ba nyanta sialu tonnale bang
Tinyarla nene manyana balula jamanika.
Destroyers should never be allowed to live amongst many.
But what is your basis? Have they destroyed anything in Gambia?
ako sa yete yo sembe munela ye munni munne tinya Gambia
Mune bijanne.
Are they here?
Ne na dal balon na jabal.
when they come, you will know who they are.
Well, they were here.
Ibijanne lunde.
Yana party la gobelo no.
Behold, you know everything about them.
No, I don't. Unfortunately, I don't.
Hani malong
But the documents show that they were here.
Bari kaito lunono fileja wolle ya itandiko ibijanne no.
In your documents, the council issued a decree or fatwa, I don't know what it is.
Ila kaito to kansuli
an
sarkule
order.
di wala fatwa
Or an order.
wala kumakamo.
It says the council has decided
Anyina fuko kansul nata lo nyina kansain ko.
that the proprietors of all print and electronic media
Ko menu beta mu kibar bundalu ti kibar do ku bundalu.
shall ensure
Nyanta a jelale ko.
that all religious programs
Dina programu lu fasongo be
aimed at propagating or defending the faith
meni alonko eka nyine kidimandi wala eka nying dino le fasa Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam la kumakangulu sosole inyanta wo kawandi fasongo lu be londilale.
is that true?
Ako fo mutonyal.
Yalo wole mo assignment leti do quality
You know, those are assignments
ikamindi council
that were given to the council,
but forset accommodate.
but there is no force behind it.
A tutan tolle bulunga jibe mine right ta wo kononga wo tamande memma writing atuje.
It was left to us to
Mo jela pang mi alonga be onyam.
maybe if you made your investigations, at the end of the day, you would not find anyone as described.
You see,
Ale continue ala do kola.
So you continue with your work.
you see Imam, the language that is used in this document
Yaje ya imam kango kuma kango fota nyame nyin kaito kono
seems to suggest that they have banned every other religion apart from Islam.
we nyine itandiko nyile dina dolu be tonne na manke islamote
That all religious programs
ko wolem dina programu lu be
aimed at propagating or defending the belief
men yalo ya wuli nyine kama purka nyin kidimandi wala ka kufasa memu lanoti
that contradicts the teachings of Prophet Muhammad should be stopped.
me yalo ko wole jonyima Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam ala kuma kango lu soso wo program fasongo lu nyanta ululondila.
By this document,
Bitum wo kaito la finto
it means the Supreme Islamic Council
ay we nyine itandiko Supreme Islamic Council
has banned
yenye tondiro kele
the activities of all churches in the Gambia.
ye church bungulu be tonne Gambia.
I am not sure that was the intention.
Abanko mafodu wo fanambale hammo kono no tumo.
8.
Asafeta August karoti liworo
I pass
2008.
it on to the chair to see, and then we exhibit it.
Mbaki la chairman ya ayajube ukola nsina sede nomba kabala.
What do you say to that?
Ibe munafala wo falana karola.
Yalo kumo bantale.
You know, the whole thing has come to an end.
Because ila pala ko diamo ye kila sallallahu hakko so tole ya po ali tuje.
They have the right to say so and be left alone.
Yeah, Imam.
Ya imam
Christianity,
Christian dino
they don't believe that Prophet Muhammad is a prophet.
imalla nyina ko kila Muhammad mu kila let.
That is the greater contradiction
Wala famu wali bati
to the teachings of Prophet Muhammad.
melni jonyima Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam la silolu fatata.
And this document shows
Adunyin kayit faso me yalon ko
must be stopped.
amanke Muhammad la siloti ye beton
Like I said,
ko nga fonu nyami
I do not think that you intended to cover that much. I didn't think you wanted to be that broad in the decree.
ngamira ko nga fonu nyami manyin jiki ko alanga ni yolo nyinti purka dino lu beton
But that is what the paper says.
bari kayito ye memfo niata ni wala bijede
Ntolmo Supreme Islamic Council Islamic.
We are the Supreme Islamic Council. Islamic.
Nka fempo.
Whatever we say,
And anim pemman badia soto na manke Islam.
is not related to any other thing except Islam.
Mang any right soto puro nga diamu fenna mimbe sujrin Christian.
We don't have the right to speak about anything in relation to Christianity.
Would you accept?
Mbe diamu kang muslimela ni muslimol.
We are talking about Muslims.
Mo be nyanta odorane famle dabe odorane pananyam.
People should understand that, and it is also in that line.
Supreme Islamic Council te diamula radio to ko Christian ol manjanna diamula otenna programo kono.
The Supreme
atenna do ko kono.
Islamic Council cannot make a pronouncement over radio that Christians should not exist. That is not a part of our program.
Ni woli be kan hakko min be na banko kan wole be tol fana.
We are all equal with them here. The same.
Muhammadir quality.
From what you said, it's clear, therefore, that what is contained in that document and what the council intended are different.
Munta senator silan ko kama fota nyami wo kaitoto anin council ya ngani nyami ifatatale.
Thank you.
Inumba.
Okay, thank you. So, yeah, Imam, let's now move to another topic.
Sai ya Imam ngata kudo to kotake.
Which one? I have to exhibit that document, Mr. Chair. The Afrol News article, 120F. Yes, okay, so. Yeah, Imam, you have told us earlier
Ya Imam yenyum fanya nun komando ko
that the Supreme Islamic Council did not have the authority to be monitoring khutbas and banning people.
Supreme Islamic Council manyi sembo soto pour ka mulla kutubolu lamoy ke no masata anin ke tong.
But
Bari
the council had banned Bakausu on several occasions.
council e ba kausu tonne sinya jama.
What do you say to that?
Miye muna photo.
Occasion what and what and what?
On what and what occasions?
I have a few letters here
Letter danta bembulu jang
in which the bans against Bakausu were lifted.
men ya lonko ye tongo men la ba kausu kan yo tongo lu bwa kan nyamen
Which implies
wo ye nyine itandi ko
that he was banned.
ko ya tonne nun
He appeared before the commission
afundita commission nyaati limala jang
and indicated that he was banned,
anda la kuma kuna nyim foko ya tonne nun
and the bans were subsequently lifted.
andu wo kola inatala tongo lu bondi
Do you agree that that happened?
foi sonda ko nena ketale
Malong letterol sujuta muntola bari ba kausu aning Supreme Islamic Council nga bem fulala kalamata natem.
I don't know how it went, but by council we had 2 meetings with him.
But I know there have been meetings with him, including a meeting with him and the president, then President Yahya Jammeh. Do you recall that?
Alning ay bengolu sotole. Andum bengo fonga nata sotole. Alning ate ba council ning utuma president Yahya Jammeh ale be benta bengo mento mbota ofana kalama.
Atele ndol sambaje.
He took us there.
I accept that.
Nsonta wala.
He wrote a letter to Yahya Jammeh asking for his intervention, as a result of which Yahya Jammeh called a meeting. Do you recall that?
Atele letter o safi ka ki Yahya Jammeh ye puru nyin kamala asiku tamandi nyin kolu to alnate mahanfo wala na Yahya nata obiti o bengo kumandi fo manke onyale.
Aketo onyama baranata koyo bengo toko atele boyta ndolka.
It happened that way, but it was clear later in that meeting that he was the one who troubled us.
Like I said, this commission really does not have the mandate or even the time to look into the activities of the Supreme Islamic Council in order to deal with the various problems that existed between some of its members and other imams.
Ako nyim commission be siri nyawnyandi bari manyin fero soto ani wato pour ka kolu be jube men ya lon ko wolle kata kansul nyinna ku ketalu ni la tamandir kolti men ya lon ko ibe keta nun komanto itewul kolu be no masata nola.
What we are concerned about is the violation of the religious rights of individuals.
Mem mun na dewundati wolem molu kunkilin nalu ye ila dina nyantolu men no tinya wala mun na solo luti.
You told us clearly that the council did not have any power to ban anybody. Do you recall that?
Yenyi mfonyana ko council manyin sembo soto pour ka mo womondin tong yo fonyana no fo malo fo hakilo sibula wala ban.
Mr. Fale ko
Tell Council Fall that
ning aya bulalong council la koli no kan from the beginning.
if he was following the issue of the council from the beginning,
Abe 85% tarala je mi alon ko wo be mo positively wo be mo ku betolet.
you would find out that 85% of all the issues are things that are positive, things that are good.
15%
The 15%,
wala min doyata woti
which is the lesser part,
wo se mulunga fe ko wo mo violence let.
that would look to him as if those were violations.
Adun toli amanke woti.
But to us, that is not it.
Na fahamoro lebe fatala wale atin.
And that is where our understanding will differ.
Because in tolna da daro le do ngawodoro ne ka fobi.
We came to mend, and that is what we have been doing till date.
Nene mamfentinya.
We never destroyed anything,
Adamadia nasode.
except the failings of humankind.
Exactly.
And Imam, we all would accept the bona fides of the Supreme Islamic Council.
Donc imam mbebe sonna Supreme Islamic Council ila nyanyi masilola.
We have no doubts that the objective of the council is to do good in order to foster peace and unity among Gambians or people living in this country.
Na lonne ko council la ngani yo munyin doron neti pour ka kukendoke membe nyim banku molu chokila nyola ngake kan kilin badin kilin ngani ya kilinti membe kairo sabatindi la banko kan.
And that is we respect our leaders.
Ngana kebalu bunya ngana nyaton ko lu fanalu bunya.
We also respect and recognize our religious institutions.
Ngana dina bundalu fanana dina makamat bundalu nge bunya wole nyama ndun sonte ke tilindi na jamaa kono.
It behoves us to look at those that below 15%, which seemingly is not right.
Oto nyimum fanalu kan nyantole ti pour wo mo bundandingulu men ya lon ko e ibeo sidula tan ni luloto pour ngan hakilo to fanali nyanta la kolu nyanta lala nyamen katanya to
In order to correct them,
pour nyin kamala ngetilindi
so that
nyin kamala
we would live in peace
mbesi sinyo kanjang kairo kono
and in mutual respect of rights.
andunga besi taralari mbul
Bakausu is under inquiry, is being investigated.
wala mnyinti ko ye kango mendi pour ka ba kausu tong wala nay ba ko kisikisi kan
It was unlawful.
ani luwa mantanyola.
Mobulolu, thousands of propagators, many are in society konoja.
All the members of the council's reputation was good except Bakausu's.
Hadin bi commissioner ka jeko kujen kere wala bije wala na nimba ka usuga jotela.
Even till today, the commission sees that there is something fishy between us and Bakausu.
Ya mera ntolle nga karandi.
Bakausu is our student. We taught him.
Kara ya ambulo mutaka dumin bulo kono. Wala be do ko la Super Islamic Council.
The one who held his hand to bring him to the school is the one who is working at the Supreme
Only
Court.
a karandi pata ra course la fa graduate na.
He taught him until
Ikaramo hana dingolo olibe mo ikaramo le.
your teacher, even his children are also considered as your teachers.
Sakona kotolo na dolu.
Especially, much more is elder brothers or younger brothers.
Ning challenge mbe ba kausu ninga karamolu tema.
If there is a challenge between Bakausu and his teachers,
Wamu malubalati ya karamoli na.
that's a big disgrace for his teachers.
What is by can help unta ma fendeno wala na fonna ga dunyol.
But it's because we couldn't do anything about it
ko fo wolem daliloti ban council ya tom men kamma
ha
ako fo wolem daliloti council ya tom men kamma ban
nga ba kausu tonne pour ala security
We banned him for his security
aling banko la security
and the security of the country.
because akamino neng
Because the people that he insulted,
ake kajafi
the people that he attacked,
ini itabutela
I do not see a reason why, if that we are to continue, they would not end up beating him up.
Imam,
sapo ko council o lenim ba kausu joteta sitake makawat
And they will make it look as if it's a problem between the council and Bar Council.
but
and
Imam,
bari imam
no matter how good intentioned your action was,
akata nyaw nyanding alanga niyo bete hata nyaw nyanding nyama
if it is unlawful, it is unlawful.
barna ni loi manta dron
yalo ni loi manta
if it is not in line with the law,
minka ko implement wala ka loi soso
the one implementing is the one that is contradicting the law.
ndol tamu suggestion doronati
Our own was just to merely suggest.
nga fewo fenke ba kausula ko to nga fewo fen poje nga action taje
Whatever suggestion we said or whatever action we do,
dunale bije bimba implement la wala ya reject tolte kuno laje
there is a place that could implement it or reject it, and we would have nothing to do about it.
so sembete na memba ten namba jela ko nyinku ontele ngake
So we had no power which we would ensure that these things happen.
But in the first place,
follow
just writing a letter
letter o safe dron
telling Bakausu that you are banned was unlawful.
ka fo ba kawse ko nge tonne o fo ni loi manta
You had no power.
fo loi ka tinyala
sembo talila
loi ka tinyala pa ka dadale
Does the law destroy or does it mend?
The law is written.
kaba kauso ban wala mu dadaroti ka tuje wala mu tinyaroti
To ban Bar Council, that is the mending. To allow him to continue his work, that is the destruction.
Imam,
imam
we have to be careful here.
mben hakilo tulale jande
We have to respect the law.
fonga loi bunya
President of the Supreme Islamic Council or a member
ime tombong kake president of the Supreme Islamic Council wala kake kafudingoti
to do whatever you think
ka kuolu ke nyama me ya lonko ite fonga miraro
you think would advance unity or peace in the society.
la miraro ka fo ko be kairo nin kambe mo sambala nyato nyimbanko ka
Everything has to be done in accordance with the law.
wo kundim be kala abe nianta kala loi la sarto le ka ni loi ta nyol
Do you agree with that?
to san rison tawala
na file ko
I told you that
lona balle be Supreme Islamic Council
there are many landed people at the Supreme Islamic Council.
mbika ke nyoko mapana
We don't also do things in the absence of each other.
mbe fewo fenkela
Whatever we did,
nka table
we used to table it.
nga jibe ko
We see to it that
nyinne security makoy
this is what will assist in the security.
wala kambe ngo makoy
This is what will bring about unity.
atele banko makoy pour ay tenko
And this is also what is going to help to stabilize the country.
adu wala mon na do ko
And that is our job.
to kola se decision ota
After that, we'll take a decision.
and wala na nimba ka us joteta ka bomo wuli kilin kono wala men si ata ota te damma
That is why we had a problem with only Bar Council out of thousands of others.
And that is why you decided to violate the law in order to punish Bakausu.
luwa na
wala nyindi ko al pareta pour ka loi fo fanantinya pour ka ba kausu kulu
fo gambia la luwa de bare dunia luwa wona de biga tinya wolu ka dadale ndolo ga men ko wolu dadaro
Except
ke tinya ro
Gambia's law. But all over the world, all the laws do is to mend. What we did was to mend.
That does not change the fact that you did not have the power to do so.
o manyim falin ko ali manyin sembo soto pour ka o kede
no man sembo kay mawo soto ntolo nga suggestion leke atuta authority bulu ya implement or not
As for power, yes, we did not have it. We merely made a suggestion, and it was left to the authorities to execute.
Imam, this ultra-virus action
Imam nyin ku men katate men mu nyin ku sangarolti.
Did not even stop at banning Bakausu.
Amanda nyin da man na purka Bakausu tonde.
You wrote to all radio stations
Ali safero ke kaki radio bungulu beto.
telling them that no person should preach the Islamic religion without a permit from you.
Kafu momondin kana kawando ke la radio to memman kaito soto kabo Supreme Islamic Council.
Is that true?
Fo muto nyal.
Defanga o permito leta o to kola nata GRTS.
I took that permit, after which I came to GRTS.
Who gave you the authority?
Momo formality leted momo nata dron ka dia la direct dan ko dron.
That is a formality. Anyone that came, we give it to
GRTS
direct.
salon ko nyindim permito nata.
Who gave you the authority to be licensing preachers in this country?
Jumale ya sembo dila. Purka laisino di kawandi lalla nyimbanko ka.
Ndenga wolone
I know that.
kola mu procedure
That was the procedure.
GRTS yalo.
GRTS was aware.
Where did this procedure derive from? Where is the authority?
So wala
bota min tola kango bota ka ana sembo ka di
about the president there.
It came from the president.
Did the president have the power to decide a licensing authority without any legislation?
For president wa nyen sembo sotole ka kango di pro license ko kawo di satara amang akango na sembo soto kabona nyanta boladami.
Ainte bulado ko la meaning sharia ngomanyo wale.
He taxed me with assignments which was not in contradiction to the Sharia.
So nadino ye yamare konga songa la yamarola madama manke tonyerote manke ala sosot.
And my religion instructs me to accept his instructions if they are not in contradiction to the word of God.
Ata bonde dami wotu tatele.
Wherever he got his from, that is left to him.
Ainte bula minna wala mundala doko.
What he taxed me to do, that was my assignment.
Manyana moto nyela ngebani imanyana banda.
I am not supposed to trouble anyone or to ban someone who is not supposed to be banned. If I did that, I will be in bad blood with the Almighty. So we tried our best to be straightforward and be just with people.
Not only did you unlawfully ban Bakausu,
Amang kenyin dam mantide ale Bakausu tong menni luwa manta.
Omar Fofana was also banned because he preached sighting of the moon in a way that is different from the arrangement the Supreme Islamic Council had with Yahya Jammeh.
Aliye Omar Fofana fanan tonne katwa kawando leke me ya lonko adenta karijiube wole la karijaw me ya lonko fanan ani ya jamela jero manta nyola.
Actually karije najibe mamere yaya ni basoto womu Supreme Islamic Council la isuleti ntoldama.
The sighting of the moon, I don't think Yaya has a lot to do about that. That's the main job of the Supreme Islamic Council.
What the point I am trying to make is he made a sermon that is different from the position of the Supreme Islamic Council.
Akwabe mem itandi kangole mnyintiko dulale na tafindi me yalonka ni Supreme Islamic Council lo dula fatata.
And because of the agreement, he was banned.
Kato alawo kumumen ayafo nya men ni Supreme Islamic Council la lo dula fatata. Ya fanan tongo dalilo le kan.
Atele wo foye po wala be separe.
Did he say that, or is it something written?
He said that under oath.
Aye kalila be kaliole koto ay nyin kuma kangofo.
Janka ni momo sela ko warande po ku ise jikikula.
Anybody who comes here can, boast about himself or whatever he is. Sometimes we hear about things which didn't even take place and some things which really took place, but sometimes we are really amazed to hear certain things here. That's not limited only to Omar Fofana.
Because it's a violation
because what the norm is, however your violation is serious, that's how they think that they will gain out of it.
So lana momo ka fodoro.
That's why everybody comes and says what he thinks or what he wants to say.
It may very well be the case, yeah, Imam, that some people would exaggerate. But the fact of the matter is, the Supreme Islamic Council, as you have rightly pointed out, had no authority to ban anybody.
Supreme Islamic Council manning sembo soto pour ka momondin tong.
They may have had very good reasons to do it.
Asikeno ye dalila kendo lu soto me ya lonko wala ya kendi yake.
But that does not change the fact that what was done was unlawful.
But wobutenyim falin nako menketa ani luwa mantanyola.
Ya long niya moy sembo.
If you hear power,
your decision or minta ayeke.
that is, it means that the decision that you have made is made it to happen, implemented.
Edu wo sembo tentola.
And we did not have that power.
Wala yatinanka ku jurmo suggest.
That was why we suggested many things.
Kuka implement so unkanyinala.
But for implementation's sake, we forget about it.
Tendulu recommendation but the council or to force a benyanta implement.
Otherwise, all the recommendations that came from the council would be forcefully implemented. Actually, we don't have that power, and we know that we don't have that power.
But Imam, since the council, excuse me, wrote to the radio stations,
But Imam bring council a letter safe ka ki radio bungolto.
and informed all stations
Ka fo radio bungul be enko.
to not accept preachers who you haven't given a license,
Ko kana so moye kawando ke la radio bungolto menu mang license soto kabo Supreme Islamic Council
that act itself,
wo keo fango wo baro fango.
whether accepted or not accepted,
Songo ketala ban songo mankala ban.
was ultra-virus. It was above, outside your authority.
Amunda ubali la sembo ye bantalale. Amanke kuti membali.
That is what you said in your statement. You did not have the power to ban anybody.
Yole fuela kumakansa fere ngoto kwa aliman sembe soto kamotong.
And that is the truth, isn't it?
Aluwele mtonyati fonde ba.
Radio fana sembo so that aponye ko mba ulenke ntakela.
The radio also had the power to tell us that we refused to comply and we wouldn't be able to do anything about it.
Bari
But the one that set us to this task wanted that. That is why they took what we gave them. Otherwise, if we had given it to them,
because Supreme Council man sembo so to puru control yamari na kuoke.
they would have told us that this is not law because Supreme Islamic Council does not have the power to tell us what to do.
But me mbulala.
But the one that sent us to this task, he was the same person who instructed them to accept.
And who was that? Who was that?
Was the president. And we will do it in a way that we will not trouble anyone, and we did not trouble anyone.
Well,
Inshallah.
Mr. Imam, I want to tell you that under the laws of this country, the president acted unlawfully. The Supreme Islamic Council also in this particular instance acted unlawfully.
Supreme Islamic Council manta.
Actually, puru kapon toleo ko ali kawando monitor puru fenkana taraje mimbe tinyaro kela.
Actually, to tell us to monitor sermons to ensure that there is nothing contained in them that will bring about trouble in the country. Being a Muslim is not in contradiction to that. And we were working in the name of Islam. We do not dispute God, we do not dispute the religion. Frankly speaking, we do not even need to know Where Yaya Jammeh derived that authority from?
ayentoli amare minna fo sa misilme ya sonta wala le faman songala ntol ko odro na nyininka na man songala ntol takela.
What concerns us is to know whether that which he taxed us to do, Islam accepts it or not. If Islam accepts it, we go ahead and do it.
Me fero mengela fonga yo ngo avoid wo tutambulo bare fonga kata ngawo jenkende ba amambete.
Whatever is not good, we avoid. The mechanisms that we are going to deploy to avoid is
The law,
Lua
I'm not talking about Sharia,
man sariya mo fode
but Gambian law
bari Gambia lua
did not matter.
munta o man amount ko kuti
Whatever he tasked you to do,
telubula kuwo kundinna
for as long as it did not infringe Sharia,
natara kulo mem man sariya mo tinya
you would do it.
albakela.
Yalo yung puruga long weda lua sonta nyina la man son nyina.
You see, for me to know whether the law accepts one thing or rejects the other,
Je manke na filte man karam.
that is not my field. I did not learn that.
What fonga
And what is not.
But Imam,
manke na tarambulo de nindata ni wala doron se to nyeroke.
And that is not my area of activity. If
But
I
ngambing karang fa ko itana.
took that path, I will be troubling
Wala
myself.
be manyana ku kela me arebe moto nyela wala be bulala ala kasoda.
But what I learned, which is clear to me, is that I should not do anything that will trouble another person.
So ngaje karana ko itana mbeng hakilo turi nje fana na doko kon.
I studied that, and it's clear to me, and I'm mindful of that in the course of my work.
But Imam, regardless of whether you put down the law books to study it,
Ko imam ka nyim foko akata nyonyandi nyama purka lua bukulu jube ka korosi
you knew
Yeah,
quite
Lord,
clearly
ya lon ka sene yako
that the council did not have the power to ban anybody.
kansul manyin sembo soto kamotong.
And by banning Bakausu and the others, the council acted unlawfully.
Oto kaba kansu tong animo kotengulu kansul yo
O tong.
With that, we had no powers to ban anyone.
Minyante to nanama kembika kunoje.
The one that's supposed to ban you, if he does nothing, we cannot do anything about it.
Nama yakafanya ko ngaleta rolo sotoja menu ka itandiko ye tongobo.
I heard that you say that you have some letters with you which show that some of the bans were lifted.
Mi akeje wala ka bondi.
The one that puts it there is the same person that lifts it up.
Wala ni ya bondi ntemeje ma kalamda.
Those that lifted the band, I did not see them, I am not aware.
Okay, that is exactly what I am coming to.
Yes.
wala mkuti mbina kandame
Nini mi akeje nying.
Those that put it there,
Itolle tongo keje itolle tongo boje.
they were the ones that put the ban and they lifted it.
Okay, Imam, take a look at these two documents.
yin kaiti fulolu jube ya imam
Mia Tong, wole ya sign. Photo nyantemba.
Ale nyunu pa wasoto mintora.
Where did you even get these ones from?
Imam, what name is on the document?
ko imam mun tole bije toju male be kaito nyimbala
Yalo Mr. Paul,
You know, Council Paul,
ni letter do coming for.
what this other letter is saying,
As far as the issues concerning the moon in the Gambia,
as far as the issue is concerning the moon in the Gambia,
so Supreme Council by emergency meeting Kumandila
the Supreme Islamic Council will convene an emergency meeting
for that issues.
for the issue.
Inka odrona fa.
That is what this letter is
I
merely
don't
saying.
read Arabic, Imam. I gave you an English document. Look at the English document.
ay kaito men dila usata angale account akoyo jibi
Who signed that document, Imam?
jumale yo kaito sai
English version ndelenga be sign.
I signed both of them.
And that document, read it, ya Imam.
ko kaito akaramba ya imam
Mia Tong. Mia Tong Bondi. Wole ya sign. Ye wole for Kodi. That's what you
You
said.
said
The
the
person
one
who
that
signed the
lifted
document
it.
is the person who lifted the ban.
wala nyindi ya
Mr. Paul, ba council yanta ban la le wo wato pour banko eten.
Council needed to be banned at the time for the security of the country.
Wo kuyata ntole katambi mobile because in Natal bolon, but I can't help.
That saddened us more than anyone else because he was our student, but we couldn't help.
Imam, you accept that you signed the lifting of the ban, correct?
Amunta isonta ko. Katongo bunda kulna ite famale ya sai.
No, you suggestion letter wrong. Atata somewhere.
Imam, suggestion itan min nabang. Could you show us the suggestion
Ko bitung
in the document?
for lalo lemu. Ye wo itan din na kaito balabang.
Implement IK.
I will read out the document.
Okay.
Council ka ba karanale.
It says, in relation to the meeting held by the executive of the Gambia Supreme Islamic Council and His Excellency Sheikh Professor Dr. Alhaji Yaya AJJ Jammeh, President of the Republic of the Gambia. The only thing missing is Babili Mansa.
I very time the nying later la karola wala bengo menketa Supreme Islamic Council ning menu ma beta je katabula banko President of His Excellency
Concerning-
Dr. Alhaji Yaya Jammeh
Concerning the ban on your dawa activities,
ka tongo la ila dawa doko ka se woti
to inform you
ka foyen ko
that the ban is lifted
ya tongo nyim bondi le sayin
and you are allowed
sai silo dilale
to commence your activities
isila doko lu tamando damuta
as soon as possible.
atariata nyawnya ni nyama
You are not suggesting to him
nyimanka ya marti ko ka
You are telling him
iba fo kanga yen
that the ban was lifted.
ko ya tongo bondile
Imam, it is quite clear
imam asenata ko
the council banned him and they lifted the ban.
kansul le ban itelenata tongo nyim fanam bondi
You may have been mistaken in your belief at the time that you had the power to do so, or it was the right thing to do.
asikeno yenyin mutako afilole muwalla ila miro toto ko nyile munyanto ti nyanta menkela atembo me bakela
But the clear thing is that you did not have the authority to ban him.
bari mensenata je wolem ima sembo soto purkaton
That is the truth, is it?
wolem to nyati
Yes, Imam.
You know mon tola problem olete na do ko kono.
This is our personal problem in our work
Because man sakunda mala feka commit.
because the government did not want to commit itself.
Wala na nyanta do ko minkela.
That is why the work that it ought to do,
Asa poyo ko eteta.
they will delegate it to you and ask you to go and do it.
Puru kai America fonye ko letter o safe ba ka osula bano bo.
To instruct me to write a letter to unban Bakausu
Wo man ke to jeriti. Odita na ngani letter o safe.
that this instruction was given and I wrote that letter.
But right person min nyanda safe na wo man kende.
But the right person who should have written this letter was
was
not
that?
me.
Who was that?
wolem jumati
The authority.
The
Min no
authority
marata ko.
Who was the authority?
responsible for the
Mansakunda.
affairs, the government.
Who are you referring to? Which particular office?
What do
Dol Juma, office
office
Juma.
of the president? What do religious affairs?
Sometimes the office of the president, at other times the office of religious affairs.
But by doing it, you acted ultra vires. You exceeded your authority.
amunta purka ke damma woto itambita ila lodulala amunta yela sembo
I ask no further questions, Mr. Chair, but let me have this document exhibited. It's 120G, is the lift of ban on dawa activities of a propagator addressed to Bakausu Fofana, dated 15 October 2010. (120G). Perhaps I should send the document for the viewing of the chair and the commissioners.
Yes, indeed, I need to see that.
Yeah.
Is there a second document that you are submitting?
Yeah. Thank you, Imam. For
Sorry, Council, I was saying, is there a second document you were saying? There were two.
Well, the other document, it was in Arabic. I didn't know the full
Oh,
content,
okay.
and it doesn't seem very relevant to the point I was making.
Yeah.
Thank you, Imam, for answering all my questions.
inum barabake imam yenna nyinin karolu be jabi
Council, should we continue? You finished?
The witness is yours, Mr. Chair.
Yeah, thank you very much, Emma Council, and thank you very much, Imam Toure, for coming to testify before the Commission.
inumbara bake council bari inumbara bake fanan imam Toure isonta inata CDR la council nyatilingula.
I want to seek two very minor clarifications.
Laftanyinen kare nding fulale la puru wal sisenaya.
The first one is when Sharifa Muhyiddin Hydra was arrested, I thought I heard two conflicting views from your earlier testimony.
Akaya mera bring Sheikh Muhyiddin Hydra ya muta.
Was that he was arrested by the police and or the security officers of the state.
Follow ko wala men ya muta wala police ulti anim banko la kanton in tankada bunda dokula kotangolu.
And then the second point that came later was that the Supreme Islamic Council ordered his arrest to save him from Jammeh's people.
Golem nyindi ko Supreme Islamic Council le ya muta puru ka tankandi jammela moluma.
Can you clarify the points for me? Maybe I'm the one who is a bit confused.
Lafita wotole sene ya memumenti nsalo.
No, fentije Supreme Islamic Council minke.
There is nothing that the Supreme Islamic Council did.
Imam Fati le ya tandiko ntolle ngamuta.
It was Imam Fati who made it known that we were the ones that arrested him.
Mo beya miracle ay keba tonyele.
Everyone thought that he troubled the big man. So we said, I thank God myself
because Imam Fati a platform or soto
because Imam Fati had the platform to make it clear that
Supreme Council Mang Haidara Muta,
that the Supreme Islamic Council did not arrest Haidara.
But niya jentenga wofo.
But the reason for saying that,
ngawoke chancellor Tifonse Haidara
police to enable him return back to his family.
Because kunun kabira yapo,
because yesterday when he said it,
ayatenondi,
he implicated him and also implicated us. God has given him a platform and he has cleansed us all.
Thank you very much indeed for that clarification. The second minor clarification I'm seeking with the President.
Supreme Islamic Council
during the Jammeh era and the post-Jammeh era.
Jammela wato wucheo kono aning jammela wato tambiringo kola.
And what triggered my query was that I saw very quickly the provisions of the Supreme Islamic Council Constitution that you very kindly have given us copies.
Supreme Islamic Council ila sartolu ning ila kolu belaring buko menkono.
Article 31 says the following. The Gambia Supreme Islamic Council shall remain a non-governmental
ibetula kafuyale la meya lonko itetarla mansakunda koto
and independent body in all its dealings.
Bekela kafuleti men betarla loring ifaye ke fansum koluni kangulu tamandi ifaye.
And then Article 38 the same constitution provides as follows.
The
President of the Republic of the Gambia
President Memu Gambia Banko la President
shall be the chief patron of the council.
Welem council la chief patron di welem alpha kuntonko di council nyinkunto
by virtue of his position as the head of state. My question is, what exactly was the relationship between the council and President Jammeh, and has that changed?
Ate president o membe jelum ate boringo je kola hanim bisay wo kolbe nyaadile.
Thank you.
Inumbara.
The way things are is that even up to tomorrow, when the president has any need
banko Gambia kono jannumbang
within the Gambia here
wala Gambia e bantala
or outside of the Gambia,
edonga sulata council oleje puruka kidimandi ka fasa ka fasa
he needs the council to be there to represent him.
de mimbita e dankula o kilirolo.
We choose a representative who will answer to such a call.
Nimu karadola.
This is just one side.
Gambia be jokirin ning kafoli minula.
Gambia is a member, the organizations that Gambia is a member of,
foibe mansakundala kotobang,
whether they are under the government
foibe NGO le koto foka fudolomba
or NGOs or other organizations,
fewo feng na e programo soto.
whatever program there exists,
Fewo fe bunda dino la bunda ma.
anything that is in relation to the side of religion,
Supreme Islamic Council wala kamabe misil mol tola oto.
the Supreme Islamic Council is always present representing the Muslim community.
Christian Council kamabe Christian ol tola.
The Christian Council will also be present representing the Christians.
The recent sanyin program o membe caring
The programs that are happening now,
nin kurang mi along ka fundida China
this virus that has now come out of China,
ila pita ka banko molu karandi inyanta nin kurango inyante hakilo tulato nyadil.
they want to educate the populace about how to prevent themselves from this virus.
So isulata Supreme Islamic Council bulu almame muanna
So they need 20 imams from the Supreme Islamic Council
ibe minu trenda
that would be trained
puriye banko betama
so that they could travel the entire country
kamolu kunindi nyin kurangola
To-
jawyala aningala alhalo.
to build awareness about this virus and some of the things that come along with it.
So warning a nyondolo wolumudoku bundala timimbe ni masakundate.
So that and others are things that exist between us in terms of what we do and the government.
So sanyi wo almamo lembe ulu select council pe Islamic Council.
And as we speak, those imams are being selected at the Supreme Islamic Council.
Thank you very much, Imam, for those clarifications. Council, we would have this as, and you'll give it an exhibit number if you don't mind, the Constitution. if you
Yes,
have not already.
it should be 120H.
Fine, that's
Thank
granted.
you very much, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much.
Number Imam ila usene andirolu kan.
Yes, Imam C, you have the floor, please.
Chairman, gannaaw maa ngi nuyu Imam Touré.
Ako abe Imam Touré konton na English.
Su fekkente ne du problème am na ñetti baat yi ma war a wax ci sariya laa koy wax.
Ako na manke koleati kuma kan sabababulu me yalon ko be dendin sariyangol la bole fola.
If it wouldn't be a problem, there are three things which I want to talk about, which are in relation to Sharia.
Sariya ak loi dafa wute.
Sariyangol ni luwa fatatale.
Sharia is not the same as our common law.
Bari na li nga xamante ne loi nangu na ko dafa haram ci sariya.
Jama bi je luwa sonta menna. Wul haramutale sariyango kono.
There are many things that the law accepts which are forbidden in Sharia.
ñaareel bi chrétien ak muslim ñoo fi nekkoon.
Flanjango Christianol ni muslimol le bi jannu.
Secondly, the Christians and the Muslims were the only ones here.
L'islam li mu gën a bañ mooy ki nga xamante ne demoon nga ba nga nekk jullit.
Islam balanta menna moment bulita hanfo akata muslimoti.
What Islam does not like is someone who was a Muslim earlier on
nga kam farata jullit yi.
Hanfo salolu menu mu fartoti molu kan.
nga kam seen secret.
and you get to know about their ways of prayers and their secrets.
Yela kullolu long.
nga xam lépp li nekk ci l'islam lu dagan
ya be long me ya long ko islam la sartol lam ñilti
ak lum harama
You know all that is in Islam which is right,
andi ya la ko lo men haramu tafana
nga jekki nga ne doto julli nga bàyyi l'islam
ye wuli doro lunkling ikoytete salila ye bo islamoto
for you to just wake up one day and refuse to pray anymore.
l'islam kooku lay wax murtad
islam ka fo wolle ko murtad.
That is the person Islam calls murtad.
murtad moo gën a bon ci lépp
murtad wala jawyata ab ko beti
moo gën a bon ci diine bu ne
Murtad is the worst in all kinds of religion.
wala jawyata ko beti o dino beti fanan
moo tax
li saba
That is why Islam said that person has to be converted for 3 days.
surtout but utila bi sayfin haddan
naman son tubila
If he does not accept to convert,
dañ koy rey ci silaama bu ñaw
ibba fala ko islamo ya mari nyami
he should be killed as dictated by Islam.
te loolu lu wax nangul ko
alulu man so wala
And that the Lord does not accept.
su fekkente ne ay réew yu jullit yi la
natara musulme banko lemu
If this was in the lands of Muslims or in Islamic countries,
li ñuy coow fi du fa am
nka membe fo jang ate sotola
all the disagreements we are having here wouldn't have happened.
man nag ci kaddu sharia laa wax lii
daga nyim fo sariyango la kangole kan
And I am speaking on the side of the Sharia.
waxuma benn diine
man dina to fo
And I am not talking about any other religion.
Thank you. Any response from the witness?
ako folum imam ye jabir sotole wala kuma sotole be mem fala nyin la kuma kangolu to
ay kibaro le di
He gave information,
ado kibaro sahatale,
and that is legitimate information.
so kasongola ko abole nyama,
Just to accept it, that that is the way it is.
so order ma
That is all.
Shukran, Sayyid Ali. I'm sorry, thank you very much, Imam. Any further questions? If not, Imam, if you have any closing remarks to make, please proceed to do so now.
imam bitun sayin mbesilo dile fananna nin ayatara kumolu beda ita fanan be lafila mem fala kayla diamo kumfa ibe kanu membulala gambian ko lubulu silang ifanan bismillah
polo mbe ala tendula.
First off, I will thank God
for bilungo sita,
that this day, as I was not following all of the TRRC sit-ins,
barenga dantanu moy
but I heard a few
mi alo e fen jama for counciloma
which said so many things about the council.
ye fen ku jama for fanan councilola do ko lalma.
They said many things also on the work of the members of the council.
Wo kamalambe ya mare fula dila.
For that reason, I will give 2 warnings.
Follow.
First off,
Ye councilolo dadaro le kama.
the council was established for mending.
Tam sabasoto.
It had 3 terms.
Follow olo malaji soriba jabila watoti.
The first was Alaji Suriba Jarvis tenor.
Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen.
Praise be to God.
Councilor Tamandi.
He ran the affairs of the council,
Anim Mansakunda Benyo Moiring.
and they had a good rapport with the government.
Anim Banko Fanamo Jama Benyo Moiring.
And he also had a rapport with many people in the country
Hanifa Danko Amario.
until he answered to the call of his creator.
Sombe ala dani la kola se empire.
So we pray to God that he has mercy on him.
Bandi wonata say wonoto.
Banding replaced him.
Fanaya katabake.
He also tried a lot.
Council of Tamandi.
He ran the affairs of the council. And nothing happened by friction between him and the government. They had a good rapport. And they also had a good rapport with the people of the country. Until he answered to his maker. And then we came and took over from him. We also did our very best. We make sure that we maintain the cordial relationship between the council and the government until we separated with Yaya Jammeh. And now we are in Barrow's time. We thank God for that. I want to plead because no matter how careful one may be, no matter how clean-hearted you may be, you are only human. Therefore, more found. You may do things to people that may not be pleasing to them. Therefore, whatever I might have done to anyone during the course of my tenure, I ask for their forgiveness. So many things were said about us in this gathering and in the country. I heard some. I have not heard some. I am aware of some. I am not aware of others. Anyone that says anything against me, I forgive you all. I want to put that straight first. Secondly, if we achieve our aim, it will not be long before we leave the council. But I want to ask this from Gambians, that they be mindful very well about the Supreme Islamic Council. It's a very important organization. And it has taken a lot of steps, good steps, for the preservation of the peace and tranquility of this country. It is not necessary that I mention all of them. But I want to plead to the people of this country
to Supreme Islamic Council
to be mindful about the Supreme Islamic Council. The problem of the council in this country is the politics
and in politics,
and the politicians.
I
will give example of 3 or 4 things. When Yaya Jammeh refused to relinquish power, we saw that the imams had a great stance, a big stance in the whole issue. We mobilized 100 imams from CRR up to the KM. We didn't have any representatives from the URR because of the tightness of the time. But these 100 imams met at the King Fahad Mosque in Banjul so that they could go to Yaya Jammeh to plead with him to leave the country. He did many things during the course of his reign. If he left the country on behalf of our pleadings, we will also go behind him to ensure that some other things are left with him.
State House la bunkono.
until we got inside the State House.
Telephone laba ngamin so do the United States America.
The last telephone call I got came from the United States of America.
Imam Al-Carter, Nali Tata, so and so Al-Carter.
Imam Al-Carter.
From the State House.
Until I got to the State House.
Data ni Yahya Kachata.
I went and had a meeting with Yahya.
Namantalaku.
We did not end well. But that was the extent of what we could do. But our going there,
Gambia Belia appreciate.
I can say that the whole Gambia appreciated that move. Except a few individuals.
Kabri Yaya Tata.
When Yaya left,
Bankobe Kandiring.
And there was tension in the country. Some people were very angry.
Supreme Islamic Council.
The Supreme Islamic Council.
And Banjul Muslim elders.
And the Banjul Muslim elders.
Ni Imam Ratib.
And the Imam Ratib. We saw that we should travel the entire country to calm down the people. Whatever God destines is what will happen. We travel the entire country.
Banko Bear appreciate.
And the whole country appreciated it.
Because
Because at that time there was unity in the country. In the course of that work, many people pleaded with us. If this work, you cannot do it in every region. We plead with you to do it every year.
Nkonta kela no region de barangala hido diala sawosang ning alaye notin dalamba kela sinyake.
We said we could not do it in every region, but if God enables us, we will do it every year.
2018.
This was in 2018.
2019.
In 2019,
Wato sita nyanta woto kela minna puruka serullahi do timmande.
The time came for us to fulfill the promise we gave last year.
Aning Kenya benta Gambia min critical tabak.
And that time coincided with a very critical period in Gambia.
Waya tinna.
As a result of that, we saw that the way things were, if we wanted to move, many things would be said. But what could we do? We said, let's leave things in the hands of God. Because our conscience is clean. We got up and went on the countrywide tour. We did not do that as criminals.
Yes, 8 million ladila.
They gave you 8 million.
Yeah, 10 million ladila.
They gave you 10 million.
Karuwali Sunday.
So and so people bought.
Bangkok.
Many things have been said in this country. Politics and some politicians have complicated issues in the Gambia.
Supreme Islamic Council.
The Supreme Islamic Council, as the chairman has indicated in our constitution,
Banko la head of state be momo be sirin Gambia la sirango kan luolung.
Anybody that occupies the office of state
wala munna bonya president
is our patron.
Atele munna guest of honor
is our guest of honor.
Na tele bembulo dunna nyobulu ka mako e kanyim banko doko.
And we will cooperate with him to help run this country.
Nta sosola muku.
We will never disagree with him.
Madama amambula fenda mending muslimi amanyota.
Except if he set us to do something which is not in line with our Islam. That seat,
Gambia Beletam,
belongs to the whole Gambia.
Momo seat a jelulu.
Anyone that sits there daily.
Nin Supreme Islamic Council mantei.
If the Supreme Islamic Council is not destroyed, you will find them there. That day, you will own them. This is the way things are going.
So that
is why we let them not make this council a political thing.
kana council use panang purukela politiko dokun.
And let them not also use the council for the furtherance of their political ambitions.
Katu el mamo doli use jang
Because they used some imams here
ka la politiko dokundi
for the furtherance of their political ambitions.
Yes, council use ya ni wal mamulu sitinyo bala pwela wonga ni setim.
They used the council and joined them together with those imams so that they could achieve their political ambitions.
So mbe ala dan la poala sendema.
So we pray to God so that God will
ala sen sutura.
bless
ala
us,
sen tanka. Ala sen Gambia tanka.
protect the Gambia,
Ala sen tanka pitinola.
protect us from
Ala sen
violence,
tanka jarabola.
protect us from
Ala
evil,
sen tanka ala jusbola.
protects us.
Mbe duala ali tol fana ya ali balla do kola.
We also pray for you, the work that you are doing,
Ali abuli Cairo min kama.
the peace that you started for,
Truth
the truth,
shall never again.
never
Kana
again.
pulan jam ko de.
Let it not come happen again.
Ala mang ala yo dua jabi.
May God answer that prayer,
Ala mang ala ya Kenya wanyam.
and may God also make it like that for us.
Wa sallallahu wa sallam ala nabiyyina Muhammad.
Thank you very much, Imam, for your testimony and for your concluding remarks and prayers. We really appreciate your taking time, coming to spend the whole day with us here, helping us create an impartial record of what happened in this country between 1994 and 2017. Again, thank you very much indeed, for coming to help us out. I just have a small problem about Gunjur being a very important town in this country. Why they would have only two Rezas imams and not Sises. So we're going to have to work that out. But Menkelelamu, Namira, two reigning Sises, and Mankenyan Jolt, Umani in San and in Sanyan in Sonkonyo Lady, well, Lamunyan Jolti, but in Bebe Murula Kabule. Kanyunko Bondinyoto. Sergeant Francis Mamiake Gunjur. But thank you so much, for coming. We will end our proceedings now and resume at 10 o'clock tomorrow morning. Thank you all very much. Meeting is adjourned.